All right, we are back with a night stream. I even got the office in night mode. Look at that. Did you guys know that the office had a night mode? It's where it shuts off the overhead lights. Makes it a little more cozy in here. So, sorry about earlier. We got cut off in the middle of the Ask Tim. So, we figured I got some. I swear to God, if my website it's down again. It's not. It shouldn't be. But we're gonna have a little just casual hangout. I got some firmware work to do, so grab a drink, smoke if you got them. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So what I need to get done is actually working on moving over the rest of the machines from the Unified 1 to Unified 2. So that's what we're gonna do. So I've got my TH3D mug with some ice in it. I got ice cold cherry Coke. I got some single barrel Jack here. This stuff is really strong to drink straight, so, but you mix it with some Coke and it's mighty fine. I will probably be tipsy by the time I finish this glass because this stuff is 132 proof. So you probably keep it away from the cigar so it doesn't light it up. I could probably clean my beds with that. So, yeah. Oh, cherry Coke and whiskey. But I do have some new stuff for you guys. I have to keep puffing on this, otherwise it goes out, and I don't like relighting it. So, oh, my first time having one of these. It's, I got a Mark Twain number 3. It's a big one. Got a really good deal on these. I haven't had a cigar in like 2 weeks. Feels good. Oh. So I brought the Ender 5 over here. Or the Ender 5. The Ender 6. Come on, there we go. Come on. Hey! And as you can see here, this is one of the prototypes. That's why it's in purple. But you can see we have an LCD case here that mounts in the stock location as promised. We've got the slot here for the SD card slot. So this will be phase 1. The last thing I got to do is, for now, what I think we're going to do is just run a little hole out of the side so you can fish a USB cable through here instead of doing like a panel mount run right now. This is one that just came off the Daedalus here. This looks pretty nice, just done in some black PLA. And I did this face down like this on the bed on one of our textured plates. I love how the textured plates give like LCD screen housings looks. So there we go. The Daedalus cranked this out in like an hour. This is at a 0.3 layer height. It looks pretty good. I don't know why it's showing up like this in person. It looks way smoother in person, but I'm very happy with this for a fast machine. So we're moving along. I just got to add a cutout here to fish a USB cable through. And that'll be the version 1. Maybe we'll come out with a version 2 that has like the panel mount with the extension. But I wasn't able to source extensions, and I want to move forward with this. So I feel like just having a pass-through here for the USB cable to run inside is, or a hole for the USB cable to run inside will be good enough for most people. But yeah, we are moving along with that. I just got to get the firmware done. But tonight, like I said, on my chopping block is I got to start getting, well, not start, I got to finish moving over all the firmware from the old Unified 1 over to the new Unified 2. So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll chat while I'm working on it. And I will answer questions while we're working here and just hanging out and enjoying ourselves. Woo! There we go. So let me get the firmware pulled up. I got both the old one and the new one here. So I got to look through here and see which ones I have yet to move over. So let's see here. All right, we can close out this. I no longer, well, actually, I will need the backend file for reference here. So what should be the next one we move over? I have these noted here that we're not going to port these over. just because they're kind of old, and not really that popular, to be completely honest. So I'm probably not going to port these over right away, but I do know like the ANETs and some of the WAN house I want to get ported over. The Duet Wi-Fi is printing, or it's working. It's not printing right now. But yeah, it is working. So I removed all the ones that we've already ported over to the new unified system. I think what I'm going to do tonight is the ANET, so which means I'm going to be working in the Melzy board package here. So I'm going to copy this and let's make a new one here. Let's see, ANET U2 prep. So this is what I do. I make a new folder for each one. We're just going to copy it here. Later, Aaron. What do you do about an SD and it fails? Sounds like your SD slot may be bad or the card. Oh. I really need to have a cigar once in a while because it's very relaxing. So let's see here. We need to copy this over so I have something to work with here. This will paste all the files in here, and now I need to open this firmware folder in VS Code. Oh, that's not it. Well, you can see here my list here of all my stuff. Oh yeah, I gotta send Gina her payment that's due today. I'll have to do that tonight before I go to bed. But I always do this because the Microsoft task icon looks very similar to VS Code, and I just kind of click it. So let's see. All right, so what we need to start doing is we need to get prepped. So we've already got all these machines here. I sort these by like name, or by machine or brand name, I should say. So let's do this. Oh, come on, Microsoft. You're not going to let me snap the windows? Can I? There we go. That's what I was looking for. Maybe not that far. There we go. All right. So ANET alphabetically would come before any cubic. So let's get this started here. ANET printers. How many do I have here? 17. 15 selected. Okay, we're going to put another one over there. Oh, wait. ANET. So there we go. So we're going to keep the same defines here as the previous version. And we're going to go ahead and retain the easy out filament sensor. And what I need to do with this is we need to have multiple probe mounts, because how we're handling it right now is kind of weird because it was based on someone else's code. So I need to define all these separate mounts in here. So we need to make up these new mount names here for all these. And now I need to actually go through and pull out the mounts here, because I think they're defined in here if I'm correct. Yes, here we go. ANET OEM. That's what I need to be looking for. All right, so if I go back up here, let's find the first one. So we got, this is for the ANET A2. So let's go ahead and make these probe definitions. So I usually start with one that I already have here. And we're going to actually do this in Notepad++, just because it's easier to work with sometimes. So let me find, replace all. There we go. All right, so let's get these all situated. So we got the A6, A8, A8 Plus, E10, E12, E16. So let's just go down. Let's make our mounts here. All right, and now I need to get the actual mount. Move to other view. Wait, wait, that's not what I move. Oh, I can't move to a new instance. What the hell? Why can't I move to a new instance? What the hell? Usually I can move to a new instance. Open another window of Notepad++. I should be able to. Oh, apparently I can't. Maybe it's because it's not full screen. Nope. Okay. Well, this will be fine. So we have the A2 here. Its OEM mount is -33 and -22. That's for the A2. This is the... Wait, we got two A2s in here. Oh, because it's for the bed size. That would make sense. So they're the same, though. So we got the A6 here, which is -1. And -54. Move down. We're moving to the A8, which is -26 and -40. A8 plus is -24 and -45. And the E16 is, let's see, E16 is -38 and 12. So we need a 12. E10 is -38 and -12. And what is the 12? So same thing, -38 and -12. So what this is going to do is this will give me the define or the config options for those new variables I just entered in for these here. And I need to put these in the configuration.backend here. So now we have all these. And now we need to start building the information here. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this block of the ANET code and we're going to move it out of here so I can start reorganizing it to work with the new Unified 2. So we're going to close that out. I need to also define this here, so we're going to move this over, so we have to account for these options too. So we have the A2 large bed. I messed up the E12 offsets. Oh, good catch. I blame the alcohol. Although I just started drinking, so who knows. Yeah, Raul's, it sounds like the SD card is broken. I would probably get a new one. All right, so let's start thinning out this config. Let's start thinning out this config to where I need to use it. So now, luckily, I can reuse this option here for this configuration. And actually, what I need to do here is make a new config box for the ANET. So I'm going to take an existing printer config here, and we're going to start with this and modify it from there. So this is usually what I do, just so everything's consistent. And we'll name this ANET printer settings. And we can reuse the opening line here because it's the same programming language, which will save me some time. We got the slim LCD menus option on. All right, so let's just do this as we start moving things over to the new config. I want to go ahead and remove them from the old one so I know that they've been moved over. Come on. Do the split screen thing. There we go. That should work now. Yep, okay. So we need to change the board. This is board ANET 1. Now here's the thing. This one's Marlin 119. and this other one is Marlin 2. So I want to see if ANET 1.0 is still a board definition in Marlin 2. It is. So that's good. I'm also going to have to modify the ANET pins file, which I believe... No, I don't think it's important in the single library. So I need to also look at the... Let's write myself a little note here. So pins changes for easy out filament sensor boards account for both LCD types. All right, so I know we got these moved over. I believe the end stop inverting is all true on these. This should be able to just be copied and pasted because we're using the same variables here. So a lot of this does carry over, but a lot of it does not. Luckily, the way I wrote the old one, it makes it so I can transfer a lot of this stuff over. So we're going to keep this max feed rate and acceleration, everything from the other config. So we can get rid of these. Okay, now this is what I need here is if we have the ANET LCD 2004, all this stuff should still work. But we'll find out when we compile, won't we? Let's see what chat's up to. I think what I'm going to do is probably put some music on. John Santiago says, on my Ender 5 Pro, when I abort a print, the hot end moves out of the way. Is there something for the firmware for the CS10S Pro to do the same? I believe it should. I can't remember where the cancellation code is located. But it should home X and Y. I believe is what it does. I think it homes X and Y is the abort, which means it's going to go to the front left. Because if you home XY on that printer, it's going to put it to the front left. On the Ender 5, it's going to go to the rear right corner because that homes the max. Yeah, and if you guys, I do want to cover this. A lot of people seem to get confused when they're opening firmware. So if you download our firmware, you don't hit open file. You actually have to hit open folder. And then, like, let's say I extracted this. You won't see this folder here. There's a firmware folder. You click this and then hit select folder, and it opens then into that folder. You can't select just a single file. So you have to open the actual folder. All right. Let's see if I can get some code done before the Jack Daniels catches up with me. Now, I don't believe we're reversing the encoder direction on the ANET. We are not, so we can get rid of... Well, actually, this is the option to reverse it. So, all right. So, let's see. I already have these moved over. What we need to account for... let's see. Xmin POS... Xmax POS, bed size... You know what's interesting? I just realized, stepping through this code, this is Xmax POS here, unless it's redefined elsewhere. No. Alright, so let's just go ahead and clean up the stuff that I know I don't need here. This we do want to keep. So, like, we've got these Xmin POS and Ymin POSes here for these machines, and the motor directions. I want to retain these because they're very important so that things work correctly when I do this, because this is how I'm actually able to do a lot of machines. and move them over without actually having to test them, because I already have, like, I know these options are already qualified and they're working. So I don't know why this is, oh, this is a direct drive printer. The E16 isn't direct drive, is it? I don't believe it's direct drive. That should be a Bowden system. Yeah, it is. Okay. So let's see here. So the AA plus, that's direct drive. A8's direct drive. I think the A6, yeah, that's direct drive as well. Let's just, so this is what I do. I kind of drill down as I move things over. I delete them from the original file, so I know that I've already moved these over. That's kind of what I like to do here. I've already done these. These all use the same inversion here, and you can see they're true on the ANET, so we want to go ahead and put these all to true and make sure we're still in the ANET section. We are. Okay. So these sections are all done. Let's start with the first thing. Let's work on the motor direction. So the ANET A2 has a false, true, false, and then a false on the E. So false, true, false, false for the A2. And the A6 is false, false, true, false. The A8 is false, false, true, false. The AA plus is true, 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 false. And yeah, so here's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to account for all these different models here for the motor directions. So let's start building the code to do that. And it's not that hard. So we'll do if enabled, and we'll start with the ANET A2. And we're going to put these all in separate little blocks here. So the ANET A2 uses a false, true, false logic. And we also want to have it have the E-motor reversal option as well. So that'll take care of that. And actually, I can kill two birds with one stone here, so to speak. So I can also then... This has the X-Min POS 0. So let's go ahead and move that over. So let's kind of... Where do I have this in the code? X-Min POS is up here. So what I'm going to do is actually move all this code up. So we can define all this stuff. So each of these are going to have a different X-Min POS. These are all the same. So what I can do here, and the bed size, and the ZMAX POS. So we're going to put all this up here, and we're going to build a little block for each machine. So we're going to do the inverts first. I'm going to do the homing location next. So we can get rid of this. And the thing is, we have this A2 large bed option on here. So what I want to do then is step into this code. I just realized the indents are screwed up on here. Are they? Oh, no, it wasn't. All those other ones weren't indented enough. Okay. So we already have this accounted for. A2 large bed. So here we go. So let's go into there. So we also need to account for this different bed size at the A2. It shipped with 2 bed sizes for some reason. But not a big deal. We already have that option here. So I can do if enabled A2 large bed. We're going to define these settings here. And if it's not, then we can assume that it's got the smaller bed. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. We already accounted for these here. We want to define that it's a direct drive printer, which will set the filament load and unload lengths. And now we can define the smaller bed option. So if it's not enabled, then we're going to use these defined values here. And we already have the, that's it. Okay. So now if we hit down, we step out. So I can do an else if. So elif enabled ANET A6. Is it elif or else if? I always doubt myself. What is it? It's elif. Okay. So now we can do the same thing. So we want to, I'm going to do this and we're going to use this as a template. So I don't have to rewrite all the code. And the difference is we're not going to have to account for the bed size in the A6 because they only ship with one kind of bed. But all this other stuff is the same. So the A6 uses the 0, so we can keep that. The A6 is a direct drive printer, so we can get rid of that. But the A6 is a 220 by 220 by 250. So let's go ahead and put that in here. 220 by 220 by 250. We can get rid of this. And the A6 uses a false, false, true, which we want to set here. Is that spacing off? No. False, false, true. And then false on the e-motor. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And we're making progress here. So again, let's do another, nope, let's not do that. Let's do another else if. Enabled. Something screwed up here. Why is this? We got if. Did I close that? So we have if enabled ANET E2, if else end if, and then we have if enabled home adjust, if else end if enabled, if else end if. Okay. I don't know why that's showing up in that color, but whatever. We'll see if it compiles. So ANET, now we're doing the A8. Now let's see if the ANET A8 is working with here. So this one, you can see here, X-min pos is -33 and -10. So we want to go ahead and put that over here. And get rid of that. It is still a direct drive printer, so we'll leave that option in there. I'm going to consolidate this because this is looking a little hectic here. Anybody in the chat got an ANET printer that wants to test this out once I get the first test compile going? Bueller? Anybody? All right, so we got a false, false, true, false for the A8, so that can stay. We're already at false, false, true, false. We got the X-min pos entered in, and the A8 is 220 by 220 by 240. So the next one will be the A8 Plus. Let's take a question and answer. Let's take a break here to answer some chat questions. Let's see. Paul got it to compile. He was up in the main. You shouldn't open the Marlin folder. You should open the firmware folder, not the Marlin. You need to step into the firmware folder and select that folder. That's what I'm in right now. So like, if we look at our packages on our website here for the firmware. So if I go to UF2, I could type so let's just download any firmware. They're all the same kind of package. So if I download this and I open this file here, I'll show you what's inside here and where you should actually open the firmware in VS Code. So if you extract all these files here, you got firmware, STL files, installation guides. When you extract this, you want to open this folder in VS Code. You do not want to step into the Marlin folder. You want to open the actual firmware folder. And the reason you do that is because the firmware folder has a platform.io.ini file, which tells platform.io how to compile and deal with the code. If you go into the Marlin folder, you're actually not going to be able to do this. Now, if you're using it in Arduino IDE for some reason, that means you didn't read the instructions. Because this is all tested for compilation with VS Code. And we do have the directions here. Printer firmware, printer board update, set up VS Code with our installation guide, which we have a link here to our installation guide. And then download the firmware, extract the files to a folder in your computer. Open the folder labeled firmware in VS Code, so file open folder. And then we're going to open the configuration.h file that's located under the Marlin folder. Now this is in VS Code. So you do your edits. You can do a check to see if it passes compile. And then if it does, you can go ahead and try to update the firmware. Now, if for some reason, like on these 8-bit boards, you update over USB, you might have to manually select your COM port. And then this tells you how to determine what your COM port is by going to the PIO or Platform.io home, go to the devices, see what you have listed, and then plug your printer and hit refresh and see which one showed up. That's now your COM port that your printer's on. So then you go into the platform.io.ini file, you select the default ENVS value, which is default environment. You double click it, hit Control F, and then press enter, and it'll take you to that section. You can see here there's an upload port. You uncomment upload port by removing the little pound sign here, put in your COM port, and then you're good to go. Then you can upload to your board. Like on my machine, I've got multiple COM ports, so I have to manually specify it on mine when I flash. So, but that's how you should be doing it. Anything else is not going to work. John Santiago says, my Serotonin S Pro just sits on top of the aborted print while it cools down. If you abort a print, it really depends. If you're doing it over USB, then you would need to put some cancel code for whatever's controlling over USB. Octoprint has an option to do that. But if you're doing it over SD and you're using our firmware, which you should be, well, granted, if you have the upgrade LCD kit on there, because we only support the upgrade LCD, not the stock one. If you cancel print from the LCD, it should do a cancellation routine where it's going to move the head out of the way. Let's see, what else do we have in chat here? Yeah, we're working on porting the ANETs from Unify 1 to 2. So what is, let's see if Tim answers you first, Max. What's Max? I'm so confused. What did Max ask? I thought the ANETs were house fires. Some can be. Maybe this question, anyone think it's worth giving ABS a shot in the Ender 6? You can try. I don't know how it'll be without having a top on it. I use enclosed machines for printing ABS. Like if your room's cold, it's probably still going to lift, even though it's got like the rear and the side panels in the front. Yes, the LCD upgrade kit for the Serotonin S Pro supports the V2. The only difference between the V2 and the V1 is that the V2 comes with a BL Touch instead of their sad attempt of an easy ABL. The only difference is you just set the BL Touch pin that it uses, which I think is 11. But I could be wrong. You could look at the board and see, but I believe it's pin 11. But yeah, it absolutely works with it. It's the same board inside. It all works with it. The only difference is you just got to set up the IO pin for the BL Touch control. Or just replace it with an easy ABL. I may be biased, though. Sean's got a question. And I'll circle back to Max's about the firmware. I thought I saw something with Sean. I didn't know if I thought he was just like talking to someone in chat. My Series S5 vertical extrusions are trammed with the horizontal. I don't know what that means. Yet both sets of my Z rollers aren't quite aligned unless I push on the side of one of the vertical extrusions. How can I fix that? It sounds like maybe you have a gap between the wheels. It's not very well phrased, but you might need to loosen the brackets up on the X gantry bar so they can kind of settle. Because one time I had a machine where I couldn't get the rollers to touch no matter what. And it was because when they were tightened down at the factory, they were pulled in too far on one side, so all the rollers can never align. So if you loosen them up, it'll allow it to kind of shift because those holes are bigger than the screws themselves, so they do have some play to them. But you should also check to see if you have any twisted extrusion. I mean, those are big. So, John Santiago, you should try the new Unified 2. There should be an abort. Let me look this up. I know there's a Marlin script, so Marlin on abort print, I think it's called. This is a very casual stream. I'm hanging out, I'm drinking some whiskey and Coke and having a cigar and working on code, so this is going to be very casual here. I'm trying to find out. There is a code, or there is code in here for like the abort print that what happens is when you stop it. Are you printing, John, are you printing over SD or USB? Yeah, Paul, the solid mounts work with the BL Touch. You just need an auto bed leveling kit. I'm trying to remember. Shit. Where is... Hang on. It's actually a pretty good cigar. I got these for dirt cheap, too. I paid like $12 for 5 of these suckers. Let me see here. Oh yeah, I do got to give a shout out to NVIDIA's new like encoding on these new 3000 series cards, because my CPU when I was streaming before would be at like 25%, and even with the NVENC encode on, I put a new 3090 in here and I'm at 5.7% CPU usage right now. It's wild. I was not expecting to see a difference there. Let's see here. ANET YouTube prep. I want to say it's abort SD. I think that's it. That sounds event G code SD abort. That might be it. Let me see. Find in files. I think that's it. That sounds right, Derek. I just want to look it up and see what it is. Yeah, here it is. It's in configuration ADV. I thought it was here. So yeah, when you stop a print, it's going to go G28XY. So if you want something different, so G28XY on the Sierra 10S Pro, and this is on Unified 2, so it could be different in Unified 1. What you could do is just put a different G-code command in here, like a G1. I mean, if you want to go to the back right, and you can modify this. This is in the configuration _ADV file. You could have this do, like, change the G28XY to, like, G1X300Y300, and that will send it to the back right. So that'll send the printhead to the back right, or if you just want it at the back left, you could do X0Y300, and then recompile the firmware and upload it. So yeah, it's event G-code SD abort, and it's under configuration _adv.h. And if you go into the firmware, just open it here and search for this in here. Do a Control F, and it's right here. So you could do a G1X0Y300, and then it'll execute this on the abort print. So I believe that will send it to the back right corner. Let's find out here. Let's open up one of my machines. I think 201. Which one is my... That's Woody. We don't want Woody. 202. Can never remember which one mine is. This isn't the CR10. Hang on. Let's go to our print farm here. Hex CR10. Let's see. Yes, Hank, that is a replacement for the touchscreen. I still haven't updated. Okay, so let's see here. So here's my CR10. Let's see if the duet's connected. It is. You can use a duet with Octoprint, which is pretty neat. Okay, so I'm going to send this here, G1X0Y300. There we go. Look at. Okay, so if you change that to your code, okay, it's going to send it to the back here. So whereas if I send a G28XY, that's going to tell it to home. So do you see how that works? So if you change it, like I said, G1X0Y300, that's going to send it to the back. And then you could also do a feed rate setting if you wanted to go faster. And that's millimeters per minute. So if I wanted to go like 50 millimeters a second, we do that by 60. So that'd be F3000. But here, let's see, 300. So there we go. But yeah, you can change it to whatever you want. So like if let me just home all here, and I'll send that again. Yeah, this is using our EasyPi Octoprint kit. This has an older Logitech camera on it, which is why it's like this weird fisheye, because there's like a wide angle lens. It's got autofocus on there that like just gets in the way of everything. But I've also got, this is our Ender 5 Plus here, and this has our EasyCam. If you guys want to see what the EasyCam looks like, I have it set to 720p resolution just to save on bandwidth, because we do access this over a wireless link. But here, I've got an easy plug on here. So let me turn the printer on. You can see the fan started spinning. And then you'll give it a sec. It'll connect to the board. And it's really dark over there. I have the overhead lights off. Like if I turn the overhead lights on, the picture will be a lot clearer. But you can see here, I can control my printer right from here with a webcam feed. And then what's really nice is because I have the easy plug, okay, so I'm just going to move the Z bed down. At the end of a print, or if I just let this sit for like 30 minutes, it'll actually shut the printer off, or I can just click this here and watch. See the sensor light turned off? Now the printer's off. So I can actually turn the printer on and off right from Octoprint here. It's really nice. Now, what's really cool is with the Tasmota plugin here, which is what our plug uses, you can have it do thermal runaway monitoring, where if a temperature exceeds a limit, it'll cut the AC power off to the printer, and also you can do error event monitoring. So if I check this, if the printer throws an error, it automatically kills the AC plug. I don't have that on because I don't really care, but you can do that. You can also do, if it disconnects, the printer AC power will be shut off. So this is a really nice safety feature. I really like this too, where there's an idle timeout and it'll wait until the heaters reach below the certain degree. So that way your hot has time to cool. So you can tell it exactly how many degrees you want to wait till it shuts it off. And then let's say I turn my printer on, I preheated, and then I forgot about it. Now I have a plugin on here called Heater Timeout, which comes with the Easy Pies. So if 600 seconds it hasn't done anything, it'll shut the heaters off. And then what'll happen is the Tasmota plugin will be monitoring this. And then once the heater goes under 50 degrees and it's been idle for 30 minutes, it'll shut the printer off automatically. It's really nice. So, but what I want to show you here was the other command, which has the faster feed rate. So if you do F3000, so G1X0 G1X0 Y300 F3000, you send that, you can see how quick it moves to the back corner. So when it aborts, it'll go ahead and do this, just like you see here. When will the plugs be back in stock? They shipped to us. We should be getting them really soon at this point. So I did finish most of the documentation. I got a couple other things left to do for the documentation. But we're going to just home that, and then I'll turn its motors off. This one does not have an easy plug on it yet. It will. It will. But yeah, so anyways, if you wanted to do something else at the end of the print, you could just do this, change the command. I'm going to leave this so I don't accidentally merge this in. But G28XY is the default for Marlin. So you can put whatever you want in here. Yeah, and then it'll do that. As far as I know, the Octoprint firmware updater does not work reliably on any 32-bit boards. I've never gotten it working on a 32-bit board. I just gave up, to be completely honest. But let's go back to the code here. Oh, it's good. Nothing, and I was actually expecting that. One of the guys online recommended the Mark Twain cigar that I'm smoking right now. And I was expecting it to be a little more intense, but it's actually kind of like more on the, it's got a lot of flavor. It's more on the milder side though, but I don't mind it. It's actually really, really good. It's just a nice, simple cigar. Let's see here. So we've already got that. So false, false, true. So, I mean, that's it. There's the ANET A8. So it's just a lot of making sense of all this stuff here. Luckily, I have, the way I wrote the code on the old version does allow me to kind of, I keep trying to save that just out of habit, doing a Control S. Does allow me some, like, flexibility to kind of speed up the process. But it's just a lot of manual work here. Like I said, does anybody in the chat have a have an ANET machine that you can test this on if I put this up to our GitHub? Because that'd be neat. All my ANET machines are out in the print farm right now, so I can't like test it directly. Let me just double check. ANET AA plus OEM mount 2445. Looking good. So this is all moved over. Make sure this matches. So we got true, 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 and then false. Okay. We are trucking along here. Again, I just hit the save. All right, let's do the next one. Now, I'm going to put the E10 next because it's in like numerical order. I don't know why the 16 was before the 10 in this previous one. But it's not going to matter anymore. So we're going to do 2, and 8. Get rid of that. And then 220, 270, 300. So 220, 270, 300. And this one's a false, true, true. And this is flipped here. This is true by default. So we need a false here. And then we need a true here. And then the inverted one will be a false on this machine. And there we go. There's the E10. Next up would be the E12. E12. And let's go ahead and move right into that one. So this one's -2 and -8, just like the other one. This one's 300 by 300 by 400. And we got a false, true, true. Oh, I just realized I forgot to put the SE. False, true, true, and this one's also a false, true for the inversion. We're moving on quick here. I might be able to compile soon. Damn it, I keep hitting the Control S just out of habit. All right, ANET E16. Which is also a 300, 300, 400, but we're -7 on the X min pos and 23 on the Y. And then we have a false, false, true, and then a false, true. And that wraps that up. Okay, so let's move into the pin changes. Damn it, Tim, stop trying to save that. I don't know what parameter blocks mean. This is in C sharp, I believe. The .h's are C sharp and the CPPs are C++. I believe these are C sharp. Here's the thing that I did not take into account here. I got to remove this here because these all have heated beds. So we do want to enable the heated bed. That was for the Anycubic Mega 0. We have this all set up. That all looks correct. What I need to do is now we need to get into the pins files, which is the fun part here. So pins, ANET, E10. Hopefully most of this will translate over pretty easily. Yeah, here we go. So ADC keypad. Yeah, see, this changed a little bit, but we got the beeper pin. No, oh, servo pin here. Okay. But this is 27. Oh, hang on, wait. ADC keypad. That's a 5-button LCD. No, that should be on 27. Why do they have this listed on 29? An idea when the Easy Board for the Under 5 Plus will be back in stock. Well, that's the standard Easy Board, and it will be in stock tomorrow. We have them. Well, not tomorrow. Today, well, technically, today is tomorrow. Today's the 2nd. I'm streaming. We're at midnight right now. But the 3rd. We got them in today. We're just going through the QC process right now. It takes us about a day and a half to 2 days to process everything, make sure all the boards are good, check them, test them, and everything. Yeah, we physically have them here. I got a couple hundred of them in. So, and there's more in production right now. Yeah, I'm really excited about the plugs coming in. I've been waiting for those. All right. We posted a thing on all of our social media saying that the Easy Boards will be back in stock on the 3rd. There's even a picture. Here it is. This is why I confused. I didn't see this. Okay, so this is the correct thing. So, all right, so we can use the same block of code. Just fix the indents here. So like I said, I'm thankful that I wrote all this stuff in the way that I did because it makes moving this over a lot less of a pain in the ass. It's still not just copy and paste for the most part, but it is what it is. All right, so I think those should be the only configuration changes I made to the pins. Now, here's the thing. Now I've modified this pins ANET file. I want to make sure that I document this. So we have a core files change list.md. It's a markdown file. And I list here what files we modified. So if somebody is comparing our code to Marlin, you can easily see what it is. So this is pins anet 10.h. I like to document our stuff here so we can look and see what exactly has changed from the stock Marlin files. Now, here's the thing. I'm like 90% sure that I can probably try to send a compile at this point. We should be in pretty good shape here. So the only thing I need to see if Zone Star LCD is still an option in Marlin. I do retain the original one, so Zone Star LCD is an option still in Marlin. And let's see if ANET Full Graphics LCD is still in Marlin. It is. Okay, so those are still the same defines. I don't need this anymore. This was when I coded in. Ooh, wait, I think I do need that. Because I think in the old one here... Let's see. Dwork. Oh, wait, no. Dwork, GitHub, Unified 2R1. I believe there were options here that cannot be run on the 2004 LCDs. Yes, the LCD set progress manually does not work on the LCD 2004s. And my lights just turned off because my motion sensor didn't detect me. Because I'm sitting here. Okay, if disabled LCD 2004, then we can define that. I don't like doing these nested ones, but I can always clean it up later. Okay. Wait. Why did I have this set here? So if this is to say we're going to define LCD progress manually, but I have this. This is like, I haven't touched this code in so long. So here's another thing. Baby step Z probe graphics overlay. That is an option in here. And we need to put that so that doesn't trigger on the LCD 2004s because it'll break the compile. Those are the two I have here. So hang on. So if this is disabled, then this gets defined. But if this is enabled, then we step into this block of code. And we have this defined. Why did I do it that way? I'm trying to remember why I did this. There's a reason I did it. this way. I'm wondering if this will... Well, we're going to run a test compile, and if it breaks, I can then step through the code and find out. But I also have set progress manually defined here. So I don't think I need that one I added on right here. All right, let's see if we pass compile here. So let's go back up to the top here. And the ANET A8 has that LCD 2004, so let's just go ahead and turn on some options. A8 OEM mount. And let's see. God damn it, Avast. Yeah, disable your guys' AV protections, because this shit happens. It's sandboxing it. Let's see if it causes it to fail. I can't tell you how many times VS Code issues people are like, I can't get the firmware to compile. It's their damn thing. Okay, let's see. So you see this? Show custom boot screen. I have to make sure that is disabled. So if disabled, Creality D1 LCD and... Wait, if disabled... Yeah, and. So if both these are disabled... So we wanna tell that to not go here. So this is part of it. We have to run the compile, see what breaks, see what doesn't, and then step through the errors. Oh, we're getting close. Woohoo! All right, let me grab a board and a screen and flash it on there and see if it actually comes up. All right. This is why I keep all sorts of boards on hand because I can at least, at the very least, even if I don't have the printer, I have their board in LCD, so I can actually verify if shit works. So, and luckily, all these ANET machines use the same board. They do have different LCDs, but I have both the LCDs here. So, let's see. And I believe the ANETs are USB powered. Am I correct? Oh, they're not. Okay. I'm going to have to put power into this. Hang on. Although, the good thing is ANET, unlike Creality, you can actually, it actually doesn't backfeed the USB. And this right here is just a little wall wart, 12-volt 1 amp wall wart that I use for testing boards. Hey, there we go. All right. Let's find out what COM port we're on. I do not have GME to take it to the moon. I do have a decent chunk of Doge, which I'm hoping goes to the moon. All about that Dogecoin. I actually am going to use my GPU to mine some Doge, not going to lie. Okay, so we're on COM 16. I know I'm going to have to manually specify my COM port, so we're on 16. My buddy has a bunch of GME stock. It might be. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's go ahead and upload this and switch over and see. And while we're waiting for this to compile, I'm going to enjoy my whiskey and Coke and my Mark Twain cigar. I'm very glad that I chose to put my office out in the garage here, so the wife can't really get upset with me if I have a cigar in my own office. And I do have an ozone generator, so I'll put the ozone generator out here after I'm done for the night, crank the HEPA filter, and then crank the HEPA filter, and then in like about 12 hours, you can barely even tell I had any out here. Okay, let's see. We are getting a fail. So here's what I'm wondering. Am I going to have to use a different... Because if you remember, the ANET used the, I think it was the OptiBoot. Or not the OptiBoot. It had its own definition. So let's see. We might have to do some more digging here. Did I get the right COM port? So I've got 1, 3, 16, 19, 20. Yeah, 16 disappeared when I disconnected it. So it's definitely on 16. The question is, let me try changing the environment value. I don't know if there's an ANET one. No, there's not. There's Melzi optimized, and then there's just straight up Melzi. I'm wondering if I'm going to have to do Melzi and not the optimized, which would suck. Because the Melzi... Oh, wait. Let me see here. Because the Melzi optimized results in a much lower compile size. Let's see if it'll even pass compile with the Melzi. I might have to slim it down even more for the ANET boards. Yeah, I've got about, well, it fluctuates, but I've got just under 1,000 in Doge. Yeah, see here, do you guys see this? So we're over on the size. So just to see if this will upload, I'm gonna go ahead and disable like ABL and see if this will compile that way. What's that light blinking on the board? That's just kind of like a status light. It just does that. It's gonna suck if these ANET bootloaders can't use the Melzi optimized. Okay, so that compiled. Let's see if it'll upload. I know this board. I know this board has a bootloader on it. All my boards in my test bin have bootloaders on them. Oh no. I'm not a fan. The ash, this is my first time having this Mark Twain. And the ash is not very tight on this. I had some cigars where I can get like 3 or 4 inches of ash on them. And they're good. I'm wondering if... Let me try another board. Maybe this board doesn't have the bootloader on it, and I think it, and I just am thinking it does. Let me try this other one here. This is their 1.7 board, which is a slightly newer version. Playing with the balls. I wouldn't say it takes balls. I'm just hanging out. I mean, I'd be doing this anyways. I've been trying to get this off my list for a while here. Let's see, is this one still on 16? It is. Let's see if it... I'm going to tell it to try to upload right now. Let's see if it goes. Otherwise, I'm going to have to look and see what people are doing for the ANET boards for their environment option. So, Chris, I actually put about $300 into the Dogecoin of actual money. Oh, hey, look it. It's uploading now. Okay, so that other one just might not have the bootloader on it. I don't know where I would have gotten an ANET board without a bootloader on it. But it's uploading now. So apparently my ANET board didn't have the bootloader. Imagine that. Oh, we're going to get LCD. Woohoo! EEPROM version error, which is fine. I hate this, dear God. All right, let's see. Configuration, reset EEPROM. Do I have to... Oh. That's weird. It's like the button. Okay, so that works with that one, so that's a good sign. Let's go ahead and let's try flashing this for like an E16 or something, and we'll try all the variants of that and combinations. I had 2 LCD cables. Where'd the second one go? What the hell? Son of beach. Guys, where did I put my other LCD cable? I grabbed 2 of them out of my bin. What the hell? It didn't fall in my trash can. What the actual fuck? Oh, it's all the way over here. Wait, is this it? No, this is one I had sitting on my desk. Whatever. It's a 10-pin. It'll work. All right, so we've got the J3, which goes here. The LCD. I don't recommend hot plugging things, but this is just my test equipment. I'm not too fond of it. All right, so there's like kind of that chirp. That's because it's set up as another LCD. So I'm going to flash this as an E10, which has this board with the LCD. Come on, stand. Stand. There we go. It's compiling. We should have the Ender 6 stuff out by next week. The LCD kit and everything. That's hopefully assuming that I can do the firmware. So Ender 6 does not come with ABL. It's got like a BL touch header on it, but who wants that? We're going to get the easy ABL on the Ender 6 with the LCD upgrade. I don't get why Corelli keeps choosing to put these like closed source touchscreens on. They're terrible. They're so terrible. They look pretty though, and they sound like a dial-up modem. You can't drop 8-bit support just yet. I think we still got another 2 or 3 years of having to support 8-bit boards. Hey, we're looking good. Look at that. The rotary works. Look at that. Yeah. We even got steps per millimeter on here. Now let's see. Let me flash with the easy ABL option. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and re-upload. Yeah, the website was, so that shipping protection, which I really like, and a lot of our customers really like, they updated the plugin and it was on auto updates, and it updated 15 minutes before we went live, and there was a bug in their code which caused our website to crash, so I rolled back the plugin and emailed them. They had it fixed in an hour. So it still sucks, but at least their support team's responsive. I'm sure our rep is just loves us. Well, this knocks a big thing off my list of to-dos. Yeah, the website is working, so go and buy stuff. I also updated a bunch of you just said great, now I can buy stuff. That's great timing. The stream delay is going to mess with that, but e-cigar, legit one? No, this is a real cigar. I got a smart humidor in my office that I built because I'm a fucking nerd. All right, let's see. Yeah, look at, we even got steps per millimeter on the 8-bit boards, or the 1284s with the Marlin 2. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Well, let's just go ahead. So here's what I do when I'm doing new stuff. So I've tested it with both screens, so I know both screen configs work. So here's what I need to do now. I need to test every combination. Well, not every combination. I need to test each machine setting here. So let's go ahead and test the ANET A2 with the ANET A2 OEM mount. Let's make sure this passes compile. Oh, and I will be going, we're actually, so I just want to give everybody a heads up now. We will post something. So there won't be an Ask Tim on the 22nd because we'll be heading back from Tennessee. We're meeting up with my buddy to go over some business stuff and to also get our new puppy. So there will not be an Ask Tim on Monday at the normal time anyways. I think I might, depending on what time we get back, I might do a stream because it's an 8-hour drive to where we're going. So we got an Airbnb to meet up with. We're going to, you know, I'm going to get the puppy from him, and then him and I are going to go over some marketing stuff for the company. But yeah, so we will not be doing one at the normal time on the, like I said, the 22nd. So we're leaving Friday in the morning, so I'll be out Friday on the 19th, and then we'll be coming back on the 22nd. But Aaron's actually going to be here. He's staying here at our house to watch the dog and to watch Clara and the cats. We thought about bringing Clara with us, but I felt like that was going to be, like, she hasn't done that long of a road trip, and I also don't want to be dealing with bringing back a puppy and a full-grown dog in the same car, because they're probably going to be going just crazy together. So, yeah. But I will be sure to show you guys a new puppy. I don't know what we're going to name him yet. So, we have some ideas. I was thinking about naming him after my grandpa Remo, which is on my mom's side of the family. So, I think we were thinking about calling him Remo. I wanted to call him Doc, short for the doctor, because Clara is actually named her name Clara came from Doctor Who, his sidekick named Clara. I can't remember her last name. So, but Samantha doesn't like Doc. But I kind of like Remo. My grandpa loved dogs, and I feel like that'd be a good homage because he's no longer with us, sadly. Yeah, Clara Oswald. Funny thing is, when I started getting into cigars back in August, I would have a couple a year, and then with all this stuff being stuck at home, I was looking for something to kind of take the edge off, and I do it in moderation, so I'm not worried about, getting crap, but whatever, life's short. You got to enjoy things, and I enjoy cigars, so. But I found out when I was talking to my grandma, I was telling her, she's like, oh yeah, your grandpa used to smoke cigars all the time, and I knew he smoked a pipe, but I actually didn't know that he was into cigars, and that makes me kind of sad because I can't share that with him right now. I would love to have a cigar with that man. Was a great guy. Like, he would love this shit. Like, he was very much into making things, and he was just a really good guy. He was like that old guy because he had issues with his kidneys, and like the nurses always thought he was adorable because he would always like kind of like hit on them almost, and it was just funny. And he was always just like I'm old, I'm not dead. But he was a really cool guy. I guess I'd take after him because he rode motorcycles when he was my age. Like I said, just found out he was into cigars. I knew he smoked a pipe. I love the smell of his pipe tobacco. I can still picture it in my head. And I do have a pipe and I have some tobacco here. But I don't do it too often. It's a couple times a week at this point. Oh, you are right. I do need to fill up my water, but I brought it in the house and I forgot it. So I usually have a big, one of those, what are they called? The blender bottles. I got the big, like 40, I think it's a 42 or 46 ounce one. But yeah. Okay, so we're passing compile on all these builds. I just need to test these extra options here to make sure that these are going to step through. So sometimes people on the ANET A8, they'll buy the ANET 12864 LCD. So I have overrides in here to set this to the correct one. It's not the backend file, it's this file. Okay, so you can see here how this is highlighted. So this stepped into the correct one. The A2 and the A8 came stock with the 2004 LCD. So this logic is still working. Which is good, that saves me time. All right, what I need to test now is the A2 larger bed, make sure that's working. Oh, I accidentally added a double comment. Let's see, A2. And here we go, you can see. So now that A2 larger bed is enabled, it steps into this block of code, which, I mean, I'll verify the compile, but I know it'll work. And what's cool is if I disable this here, now you see this other block of code lights up. So VS Code does do like live toggling to like show you what's enabled and what's not. Adam from Tiger Direct. Oh shit. Wait. Like Adam Carrion? Is that who this is? Funny thing is, we just ordered a bunch of UPSs from Tiger Direct. They're still in business. Shit, man, I haven't seen you in forever. Yeah, I used to work at Tiger Direct. I was like in their Geek Squad department type thing, doing computer repairs. All right, so that wraps up that config. Um, yeah, shit, that went quicker than I expected. I guess I just forgot what what I had selected. I do think we're using easy out enable. Oh, I gotta make sure I have the easy out settings correct. Which means I also have to modify those pins files again. Because I think it's easy out v2. Yeah, so we're just gonna call it easy out enable, keep things simple. We don't really need the v2 brand like name anymore. An easy out's an easy out. That's the adapter boards we sell that allow you to plug a filament sensor in without actually having to modify like the printer, no soldering or cutting of wires or anything. It's just plug and play. So what I need to do now is actually merge these changes into GitHub. So this, oh yeah, dear God, Duet. I'm never doing another Duet. Like I said, their hardware is great, but dear God, their firmware, it just feels like it's complicated just for the sake of being complicated. It's wild. All right, so I need to compare these files here. So I got modifications to the back end. So here's all the probe mounts we added in. I'm going to copy those over. I had to put this in here to disable that. So those are in sync now. And then the configuration ADV file, we had to add this in. And then we had to add this in so that doesn't break things. And the last thing I have to do is the pins and then the config file. So we're going to go ahead and copy that to the right, copy that to the right. And then I need to do a compare of this against here. And this is for the Melzy boards. Check this out, Thingiverse, let's see. To the moon, diamond hands to the moon, that's great. We're going to go ahead and download that. All right, so we need to copy this over, copy that to the right. Here's our block of code for these machines. So we got the E10, E12, E16, AA+, those all pass compiled. Let's see. Come on, Samsung Watch. Tyler West sent me a message. You're in Kansas now. That's a hell of a drive. All right. So now what I need to do is we can see here if I go to Unified 2, we can see this. So we can see my code changes here, all the additions. We can see these here, these there. So I'm going to do this ANET printer support A2/A6/A8/A8. We're just calling it A8P/E10/E12/E16. And now we're going to commit that, and just like that, it's on our testing branch. So if you guys go to our testing branch, so if I do repository view on GitHub, if you guys go to our GitHub page for the unified firmware here and drop this down and hit the testing branch, you can actually download this code I just worked on right here. You can see here, ANET printer support. Here's the commits. You can see here. Here's the commits. And just like that, it's in there. So I'll have to do an official release. I don't think there's going to be any issues with this because we have existing config to work off of. And that's the nice thing. Since I put all the time into Unified 1, I already have a lot of the work done in terms of getting the correct configurations and values for the printers. It's just a matter of moving them all over. And it just takes some time. How long have I been streaming? It's like an hour and a half. It's about an hour and a half. So, yeah, let's see. Adam moving short and graduated my PhD from the University of Kansas special ed. Yeah, I remember you worked with special ed kids. Absolutely. Absolutely. Adam, email me. I don't know if I have your number. Do you still have, do you still have my phone number? It's a 708 area code. Don't post it. But, if you do, shoot me a text right now. It's the same number I've had forever. I have not changed my phone number. Or did you delete my number? Sean Green. Oh, looks like I might have got it. I'm not going to open that on stream. Here, let me switch over so I can see. Yep, I got it. I just replied. Cool. I will ping you later, for sure. Dear God, if someone posts my personal cell phone number, I will hunt you down. Not even joking. I've had this number for so long. Although, I could easily just block anybody. I get so many Indian scam callers. It's ridiculous. Let's see here. Time my number, hold the number forever. I've had this same number since I was... Shit, I want to say it was like 15 when I got my first cell phone. Sean Green. Adam, how did you even find this channel? I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. How did you come across my channel? You just been lurking for this whole time? I'm genuinely curious. I tried contacting before, but I think your wife brought him into your business customer service. Sounds about right. She probably doesn't know who you are. I don't know if you've even met my wife. It's been that long. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Because you were, last time I remember, you were up in Rockford. All right, so here's what I do. Once I finish moving a printer over, I'll go ahead and get rid of this. I don't think Samantha went to your house with me in Rockford. I don't think so. I think that was my ex. It's been that long. Sean Green. I meant to ask you, how much money do you have to spend? Because if you got deep pockets, and by deep pockets I mean like $2,400, I have been really liking the Daedalus. I understand it's a lot. It's out of it's out of some people's price ranges, but dear God, I'm really liking this machine. Like, I'm using it as my go-to one now. My Ender 3 is feeling a little neglected. This is, I need to tell Joe to update the photos on here. This is built here in Indiana, and this is a very solid machine. It's a 310 by 310 by 350 Duet 3 linear rails. It's built right here in the US. It's got an E3D. The standard one is E3D V6 Gold. You can get the Copperhead on it too. I got the V6 Gold on mine. And it comes standard with our EasyABL Pro Mini on here too. So, like, this printer you don't have to do shit to. Like, this is a ready to go, and they ship this fully assembled. So I don't know if you have that kind of money, but dear God, as I take it out of the box and print, it's amazing. For a direct drive under 1200, I would say, honestly, the Solval SV01's a really good machine for the price. Those are like 300, somewhere around there. With, I mean, there's a lot of upgrades too. Like we carry a lot of upgrades for it too. I mean, you could get the Solval, drop like an easy board on it, put an easy ABL on there. You'd probably be sitting like right around like under $500 for a direct drive machine. We have 2 of these here in our print firm. These actually are really solid machines for the price. And like this works with our easy ABL and our easy board. This is not a Core XY. I'm not sure. Did you say Core XY? No, you didn't. The Daedalus is a Core XY though. Nearies, I can tell you right now, they aren't sending machines out. I bought that. He did not give it to me. I will disclose, I do know Joe personally. I met him through business dealings, and then, you know, him and I became friends. But he's not giving out machines. Joel Telling bought one. To be completely honest, with the volume they're doing, it's a high quality, lower volume printer because of the time it takes. I don't think he needs to do any freebies, to be completely honest. It's just a really solid machine. So, do not buy Sapphire. Sapphire and Two Trees are basically the same company. They're garbage. Two Trees is garbage. Creativity Elf, I think, is just a rebranded Sapphire. Stay away from both of those. They're terrible machines and they're terrible companies. They're just terrible printers. And to make matters worse, the company will not stand behind their products. These Elf printers. These are rebranded. These are rebranded Two Trees machines. Don't be fooled. And there's some stuff. I don't know if you guys remember, the owner of this company actually posted some really terrible crap on Facebook, threatening to kill somebody. I'm not even joking. I wish I was. And then played it off as a joke. Maybe some of you guys caught that when that went down. But yeah, this is basically just a rebranded Two Trees. Two Trees is a terrible company. Do not buy their products. Yeah, so not only do they sell you crap products, but they don't stand behind the crap products. I don't know how the hell this has 5 out of 5 stars. I've ordered from this site, but they're just a reseller. They just drop ship. They don't actually hold any stock. Where can you find a Hangout duplicator i3 Mini in the US? Probably Micro Center. Their power spec is a rebranded i3 Mini. Their Power Spec Mini, I think it's called. Funny enough, I ordered my Ender 6 from here. Honestly, man, if you want a Core XY, I'd probably say just get, in direct drive, I'd probably say get an Ender 6 and upgrade it. It's kind of hard to argue with the Ender 6. I'm trying to find, are they even still selling them? Let me see, change. Like, I always check Westmont's by me. Do they still sell them? They had them for a while. They had a Power Spec branded one. And I do really like those printers. The i3 Minis. They're just a decent machine. They're well built for the price and they're cheap. I don't see that they have them. Oh yeah, see, they're sold out on Westmont. Are they on? I ordered from their web store. Yeah, and they're in-store pickup only. The only thing I have an issue with the Sidewinder is those ribbon cables. They freaking go out all the time, and you have to buy their proprietary stuff. Honestly, if ours goes out again, I'm just going to run my own cable harness and call it a day and get rid of their damn ribbon cables. Let's see here. Yeah, I did. I will not touch any more Two Trees machines. They were, not only was the company shady as hell, but their printers